Afternoon. It is wonderful to be with all of you. So today we've had a company founder, an executive. We've had an academic talk to you. I am one of you. I'm an HR professional. This is where I've spent my career. I've been doing HR for years. You don't think I'm really going to tell you how many years I've been, all right, now I've been doing this for over 25 years. And one of my favorite parts is being able to share what I've experienced, share what I know, with the hopes of inspiring all of my colleagues like you. So if it is okay with you, what I would like to do for the next 45 minutes before we get to questions is I would like to share with you stories from the 6 years I spent at Tesla. And as I tell you those stories, I want to share with you some of my top lessons for HR. How does that sound? Good? Okay, so let's do that. What does HR do when a company is growing this fast? Well, clearly the work that we were doing mattered. And it mattered a lot, because you're not going to get to 33,000 employees without HR. And not only that, but what are we doing to get those employees up to speed and in their jobs as fast as possible so they can be as productive as possible? All of that is the work of HR. And that's what I'm now going to tell you about. What did we do, and what are my top stories, my top lessons? What does HR do when a company is growing this fast? Well, clearly the work that we were doing mattered, and it mattered a lot, because you're not going to get to 33,000 employees without HR. And not only that, but what are we doing to get those employees up to speed and in their jobs as fast as possible so they can be as productive as possible? All of that is the work of HR. And that's what I'm now going to tell you about. What did we do, and what are my top stories, my top lessons? We asked 2 questions, and these 2 questions were asked of every candidate, whether you were coming in for a leadership role, whether you were coming in for an engineering role, or whether you were coming in to work in our factory. Every single person was asked these questions. The first one was, why Tesla? And what we wanted to know here is there something inside of you, that intrinsic motivation, that's going to help you stay motivated to stay in the face of our challenges when we're having our challenges? And some people would come and they'd say, for me, Tesla, because I love cars, and I love this idea of electric cars. Great, that's a wonderful answer. Some people would come in and say, because I'm concerned about our climate, and to do electric cars is good for the environment. That's a great reason too. Some people would say, because I just love to be a part of the newest, latest, greatest technology, and it's happening at Tesla. That was a fine answer too. Any of those, what we really wanted to know was that they weren't just looking for a job. Because if they're just looking for a job, we were going to work way too hard, we were going to work way too fast, they were going to get burnt out, and frankly, they would start to poison all the other people who were all in. Right? So why Tesla? Question number 1. Question number 2 was, tell me about your most significant accomplishment. And again, we asked this of everybody. And I worked with some amazing people. There were some people who their answer to this was that they were an Olympic athlete. Is that right? I got to work with Olympians. That was amazing. Some people would say, I invented a new product. That too is an amazing accomplishment. But we weren't only looking for Olympians, or we weren't only looking for inventors. Some people would say, I have 3 children and one has a disability, and I've made these kinds of adjustments, or I fought for my child and I accomplished this for my child. Or some people would say, I'm involved in my community, I'm involved in my church, and here's what I did for my community or my church. It didn't matter to us where that accomplishment was. We just wanted to know that we were hiring people who had the ability to persevere, who had the ability to accomplish something, because we were working really hard and our goal was to accomplish. So this was our first thing, hire for mindset. Now, of course, mindset isn't everything, and after mindset, the next most important thing that we wanted people to know about and to focus on was actually knowledge. And this is going to go to the next lesson that I had. Some companies underestimate how smart the people are who work in their factories, and they almost treat them like they're a different breed. They're not. They're smart people. That's just the job they're doing. Every single employee in all roles, we told them about the challenges. And so if you can imagine being in the company back in 2012 when we said, look, these are our biggest challenges. At the beginning of the quarter, we have to get out the door our first 10 cars off of our production line. And then by the end of the quarter, just 3 months later, we have to get to 500 cars a week. If you're a new employee, you immediately know that you just walked into some really aggressive challenges. And you know you're going to be working hard. And so now when your manager says, Liliana, I need you to work harder, you don't just think, well, my manager is being mean to me. You realize, I get it, I know, we're trying to produce 500 cars a week by the end of December. And then we also were honest with people about gross margin. And a lot of times we assume only the executives understand what gross margin is, but we told people, this is what gross margin is. We have to get to a point where we also have money coming in because this business is very expensive, and so people understood that. So we were transparent. We also took everybody on a factory tour. Because if you can see the Tesla factory, and I know there's at least one person in this room who's had a chance to do that, if you get a chance to see the Tesla factory, it's pretty spectacular. It has some of the highest and newest robots. It's white, it's light, it's really cool. And so this was another way to help employees see what we were doing. But when we took them on the factory tour, we also told them lots and lots of stories. How did we get here? Why are we doing things the way we're doing them? We also, as part of orientation, took everybody on a ride. So we would have employees who had never been, new hires who had never been inside the car that they were going to be making,